Stephanie, I always start out all of my guest interviews or guest conversations with just like, why don't you give us a little bit about who you are, what you do, who Stephanie is, what the Entreprenistas are, like all of the things.
Of course. So I'm Stephanie Cartin. I am the co-founder of Entreprenista. We are a media company and membership community called the Entreprenista League, where we have created this community where we are dedicated to helping women founders and leaders have all of the business tools, resources, connection, and community, everything that Courtney and I wished we had when we were starting our first business, Socialfly, over 11 years ago now. So that is
Cool.
my focus is on Entreprenista. I'm also involved in a couple other businesses as well, Socialfly and Market and Pearl Influential Capital. But my day to day, I'm very focused on building our Entreprenista League community.
Awesome. And like, who is Stephanie outside of the Entreprenista community and all of the business?
Yes, I am a mom to an almost 4-year-old baby girl. I still say baby because she's still my little baby
Poor
always.
baby.
Yes, time really flies. So when I am not spending my time helping female founders with their business, I am helping my little one with everything. Actually, she's teaching me now. So it's
Isn't that
amazing how
amazing?
yes.
They like we take on like this learning role through parenting. It's like this whole new um full-time job, but
Yes.
like every age comes with like a whole new set of skills to develop like as a parent, and like our kids teach us these things too.
Everything
Oh,
last night.
wild.
So we had this terrible thunderstorm in Florida last night and our lights started flickering and then the lights actually went out and it was like just getting to be bedtime. So it was pretty dark and she got super scared. We, did whatever we could to calm her down and show her. We got our lanterns out. My husband's actually very prepared. I was like, I didn't know where any of these materials were, but we
Yeah.
got lanterns out and everything, calmed her down. And then she had so many questions about thunderstorms and lightning. And she's asking me all these questions. And I literally had to Google everything. I'm like, how does lightning happen? And I'm like, I don't remember any of this. I'm like, let me find the answers for you. And I'm going to relearn everything through you.
Isn't that amazing though? So was she scared of the thunder?
It was very loud. And then the lights
Okay.
went out. So it was like super scary. So yeah, she was very scared. But this morning we were talking about it and, told her how great she did. And like she felt so proud that she made it through the thunderstorm. She's like, I don't want that ever to happen again, though.
Oh, my heart. I told Julian that the thunderstorm the thunder was just like little birdies dancing on the roof of our house. And then when the thunder went away, the birdies went home. So now every
Oh,
time it thunders, he's like, it's the birdies dancing. And he does this like little hand motion and he goes, they're loud. They're
oh
just
my
so
gosh,
loud.
that's so
They're
cute.
being so silly. And I'm like, yeah, it's so interesting because kids absorb so much at this age. They remember everything. Sometimes I'm like, Julian, how the heck do you remember that?
Everything. Like
Everything.
everything. And actually, I tell Molly things to remind me because I forget everything now. So we're going to be going away this weekend to Disney. And I was like, Molly, on Thursday, can you remind me to be sure that I pack the tickets?
And she'll do it.
She'll remember. Yes.
Oh, that's so funny. That's exciting. Going to Disney. Is
Yes.
it the first time as a family going?
We invested in the Florida season passes this year. So we've been going a lot this year. I'm like, I'm trying to get the value out of those out of the passes. So we've been Disney frequent guests this year.
That's awesome. So we're actually going on a vacation on Monday too. So this is the first time we're going to go as a family of four and bring
Oh my
Cameron on a plane. And Julian was on the plane last year when we went to the Bahamas. But we're bringing my mom and my sister, my nephew. Like this flight is going to be complete chaos, but we're so excited to just like go away as a family and just like experience all of those new memories.
It's going to be awesome. And kids remember everything from these vacations. And I feel like that's what I remember
Yeah.
growing up is, family vacations and those memories being in different places because the day to day is, the same thing every day. You don't remember as much, but when you have these family moments together that you can really remember, it's the best.
Yeah, they say that someone gave me this suggestion once that if you give your child like a certain special toy or a certain special snack or something having to do with the plane or the vacation or whatever it is, they'll always remember the thing that you gave them in association with that like trip or the vacation or something. Isn't
I
that so
believe
cute?
that.
I
Yes.
know. So like talking about like kids and memories and all the things that we sort of like dream about when we're kids too. Like I think Disney is like such a dream awakening place, right? You go there and it's like all like every corner is just like amazement, right? When you were a kid, like what did you dream of being? Like what was like your dream job?
So I grew up doing musical theater as a child. I was
Okay.
in lots of different shows and musicals, and my dream was actually to be on Broadway when I was younger. So,
Interesting.
yes, that's what I wanted to do. But didn't end up taking that path for college. Long story, I won't get into it. That would be a whole 45-minute separate episode. But I ended up going to school for hospitality and business management at Cornell. And now I feel like through everything that I've done over the past 10, 15 years in my career, so much of what I've been able to accomplish has been because of my musical theater background.
Wild.
Being able to talk in front of people, perform, be in front of people, whether it's in a new business meeting or, anything that you're doing in business, all of the skills that you learn doing musical theater really helps with it.
That's so interesting that you say that because like for me it wasn't musical theater, although I was always like someone who loved to perform and like be in the spotlight. I did competitive cheerleading and everything. But I too agree with like I embody all of that in what I do as an entrepreneur. And what's so interesting is like as you're starting your own business or scaling your business, I find that I kind of default back to what my dreams were as a
Mhm.
kid and bringing it into like this dream everyday business like that I get to wake up and just be like, this is my life. Like
Yeah,
this is what I dreamt of in a way. And now I get to embody this every single day. Like, how cool is that?
it's the best, right?
Right? It's just so fun. So there was something that you said when you were, going through your introduction, and you said we really created the thing that we wish we had. So what was it that you wished you had?
When Courtney and I first
Yeah.
started Socialfly, our social media marketing and influencer agency, we were super young. We
Yeah.
were in our early 20s and mid 20s, and neither of us had ever really started a business before.
Right.
So we didn't know what we didn't know.
Yeah.
And the reason we were able to build our business so quickly was through networking and
Mm.
joining different, referral groups and networking groups and organizations, but it was because we made connections and reached out to people and asked for advice and help. So one connection led to the next connection that helped us get a new client, and that connection led to the next connection that helped us find our business attorney, and that connection led to the next connection that helped us find our accountant, and so on. And then we realized we were joining all of these groups for different things. We were in one group specifically for networking and new business. We were in one group to learn how to get press for our business, in another group to learn how to be great leaders and work with a coach. And when we set out to create the Entreprenista League, we thought, why isn't there one group that has everything you need when you are ready to launch, grow, and scale a business under one roof? So
Right.
that's what we set out to create with our community, where our members have access to everything that we needed on day one when we were starting a business. And you don't have to spend all the time trying to put all the puzzle pieces together yourself. We have everything for all of our members.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, when I first started my business too, I felt like it was almost like I was building my plane as I was flying it. Like
Mhm.
like what you said, you don't know what you don't know. Like how are you supposed to know that there's something out there to help you if you don't even know it exists,
Exactly.
right? So it's kind
Exactly.
of like that state of feeling blissfully but not really blissfully unaware.
Yes. Yes. I
Like
always say it's like,
painfully unaware of that there's something out there to help you. So funny. So there's actually this has been like the theme of my year, which is so interesting. So you can't get a yes if you don't ask for it,
yes,
right?
that is correct.
So you mentioned networking. Like how has networking been like a key part of just like everything that you do? Like how have you been able to really build your network in a way that feels like aligned and like I don't know, like amazing for your business and for life?
The first thing I'll share about networking is that it's not just about you trying to like get to that next level and meet someone to get everything for yourself. It's about genuinely connecting, learning about people, understanding about them personally, about their business, so that when I'm talking with other people and things come up in conversation and someone says, "Oh, I'm looking for someone to help me with Amazon services," I remember that this other person that I just spoke with has a business helping with Amazon services, and I can connect them because I spent time genuinely getting to know that person and what they do and understanding their business. So I always say, givers gain. And that's something that I learned very early on in business in the first group that Courtney and I were in. You have to genuinely like people and want to help and make connections because it will all end up coming back to you. The other thing I can share about networking is that you have to make it very easy for people to be able to refer business to you. And what I mean by that is, if you like, we're talking right now and you're asking questions about, the Entreprenista League. And I share with you, the Entreprenista League is the best communities for founders who are looking to make meaningful connections. And now you're talking with another founder, you have this easy, like one sentence toolkit to be able to share, like, "Oh, have you met Stephanie from the Entreprenista League? She has this amazing community of founders. I think you'd be a great fit. I want to introduce you." You have to make it really easy for people to be able to share what you do with other people in your network, because networking isn't just about, the two of us having a conversation, understanding what we do together and just us referring business to each other. It's really learning about each other. So our entire networks, both of our networks, can be open to learning about what we both do and having a whole community of people talking about you and your services and your business.
It's, you know what, as you said that, literally I had like 9,000 different light bulbs going off because wait, this is a really funny story. And I think you're definitely going to get a kick out of this, especially based off of what you just shared. So on Wednesday of last week, so I come into my office on Mondays and Wednesdays. On Wednesday of last week, I'm like walking out here. I make a little left. I'm going to like go to the bathroom. I pass by the PR company. So there's a PR firm like right over here. So like out my door and around the corner. And if you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple, you have no idea what I'm doing, but let me just tell you. So you go out, you make a left, whatever. And they always have their door open. We're chit-chatting all the time. Quick little shout out, brand groupies. Love you guys so much. Do you know who they are as I say that?
Do,
Okay.
yes.
So me and Carrie were having a conversation and Lauren, and I was like, man, like I was just looking for somebody for like a specific role within the company. And Carrie comes in with her coffees and she's just like, "Oh, you should join the Entreprenista League." And I was like, huh. I was like, "Tell me more," because I wanted to hear what she was about to say. And she's like, "Well, it's a great networking community where everyone's just really leveraging each other's strengths to connect one another." And she's like, "I'm actually using the Entreprenista community to find a role, a similar type of role." And I was like, "Oh, that's so interesting. Stephanie is going to absolutely love this." And I said to her, I'm like, "Stephanie is going to be on my podcast next week." And she's like, "That's so funny." But she literally had like your 2-second elevator pitch where she would have done it. And if I hadn't known about you, I would have been like, "What's this Entreprenista League she speaks of?"
Right?
Right?
That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
So
And then
everyone needs to nail their elevator pitch. So not just for yourself to be able to talk about your business, but so other people can be talking about you.
yeah, so the elevator pitch. So if for anyone who's listening, what would be like a tip maybe to nail their elevator pitch, especially if, because a lot of our listeners are purpose-driven entrepreneurs, right? But in the beginning phases, I find, because a lot of the people I talk with are really helping them to get like their business off the ground to eventually scale it. So if someone's in their beginning phase of their business and they're like in that place where they're like, "Well, what if someone judges me, or what if nobody asks what I'm doing, or whatever the case may be," what would your tip be for them to maybe uncover their elevator pitch? Do you have any?
Sure. So the first thing I'll share, the reason it's called an elevator pitch is because you need to have it down. So if you're actually in the elevator with someone and they're going to get off on the next floor, you can say what you do and what your business is like so fast. So
Totally.
the first thing is you want your elevator pitch to be as short and succinct as possible
Yeah.
and very clear as to what you do. And then you also want to make it really easy for people to be able to remember. So you don't want it to be complicated, cumbersome. very clear and succinct that if you share it with someone else in an elevator, they're going to remember.
Cool. I love that. So your elevator pitch, let's hear it in 2 seconds.
All right. The Entreprenista League is a community for women founders and leaders that's dedicated to helping our members have all of the best business tools, resources, connection, community, and support.
Yay! That was awesome.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Do you want another elevator tip?
Yes.
Okay. So this is something that someone taught Courtney and myself several years ago when we were in New York City.
Okay.
So if you're ever in an elevator with someone, it actually can be a really great time to network. Ooh. So the way to strike up a conversation with someone in an elevator. So let's say we all get into the elevator right now and they hit floor 10 and you say to them, "Oh, what's going on the 10th floor?" And then they'll say, "Oh, I work here. This is my business." Or, "Oh, I'm going here to this meeting." And it's a great way to strike up a conversation with someone.
Oh,
then
easy.
You can share what you do, exchange business cards, or grab each other's link on LinkedIn, and now you're connected.
That's so easy because it's literally the information's right there in front of you.
Yep. So what's happening on the 10th floor? Yeah. What are you doing on the 10th floor today?
That's so fun. Everybody write that down. Do it and let us know in the reviews if you tried it and how it worked for you.
Yes. Keep me posted.
I guess what it really comes down to is how far up is the elevator going and how long do you have for the actual.
If they hit the second floor, say, "What's going on the second floor? Quick, tell me before the door opens."
Right? That's funny. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, how can I simplify my elevator pitch? Because mine is always like, I'm a very wordy person. I'm a very talkative, tangent going person. And as you're like saying this, and I'm like, I help coaches master the skills so that they can be the most confident coach in the room.
That was amazing. So by the way, when I just did my elevator pitch before, I actually wasn't prepared. And the elevator pitch, no, it's okay. The elevator pitch I did was more of like an overview of the Entreprenista League. It was actually way too long. What you just said, say that again. It was like very short, concise.
And I help coaches master foundations of coaching so they can be the most confident coach in the room.
Perfect. Like that is like a short, concise, perfect elevator pitch.
I'll take it. I like an A+.
Yes. And then the other thing to share with people as you're networking is share who the best referrals and introductions are for you. So you're top of mind for people. So
yeah, that's actually really great.
They want the best referrals for you. Who are the best?
They want value. Yeah. And that's something that I learned too with like networking and everything is that like, not for nothing, everyone only cares about themselves. They don't freaking care about you. No offense. They care about themselves and what you can do for them. Most of the time. I mean, we have genuine people and we genuinely want to create connections and all of the things. And I feel like sometimes, and let me know if you disagree because it's totally fine if you do, but we operate like in the taking everything personally perspective kind of thing, right? So it's not about what you can do, it's how you can provide value to somebody else, because then their little antennas are going to start going off and be like, oh, she's going to create this connection for me.
Yes. And look, I do think, and this is again, for me personally, you genuinely do have to want to connect and help people and want to make, networking just part of your everyday life, because the more value, like you said, the more value you can provide to other people, you're then going to be top of mind for them as they're going about their daily life and their business. If things come up, it's like, "Oh, Stephanie just referred this person to me." And now you met someone else. And you're like, "Actually, wait, I think they would actually be a great fit for the Entreprenista League, or I think they'd really be a great fit for something else. I want to see if, connect them back with Stephanie." So you want to stay top of mind for the right people in your network and community.
Absolutely. No, it's honestly, it's so true, because another thing that came to mind too, as you were saying that, is like when you were talking about like, pitching to media and all of the things like that. I've like worked with PR before. I've like done the whole thing and like it worked out really well for me, but I wanted to take it into my own hands. And I started to do like these pitches, and I was getting like a whole bunch of crickets, and I'm like, what the F am I doing wrong? And I read through it and I'm like, this is coming from such a selfish perspective. Like, no one's going to just put me anywhere for exposure. Like, how can I reframe this so it's the value I'm providing to somebody else's audience that's going to have them have their listeners or have their readers like tune in and want more, right? How can I give like that equal exchange, like leveraging social media, blasting it out to the email list, letting them know what my expertise is so that we can have a really valuable conversation so that people are like, oh, that was a really good like read, or that was a really good episode to listen to,
Yes. No,
right?
definitely. That just made me think. So, something I always share, especially with getting, PR or different placements for the Entreprenista League, I always say this like, Entreprenista League, it's not about me. It's not about Courtney. It's about our community and the amazing stories and connections and businesses that are being built as a result of people actually connecting together. So,
Yeah.
when we go out, with press or with stories, we never make it about us and like why did we start the Entrepreneurs League? Like it's great, it's a great story, but like it's not about us. It's about we created this to help everyone else. How can we share your story and the incredible connections you're making? Or one of our members just reached out to me this weekend. She's like, you're not going to believe what happened. She's one of our Entreprenista 100 winners. She came to our event that we just had in South Florida. She made a connection at the event that
Uh-huh.
led her to getting into an accelerator program. And then she got a $25,000 grant.
No, that's
Like those are the
amazing.
stories. Like
That's
that's what's
huge.
newsworthy. And like for you, for your business,
Yeah.
what's happening with these coaches that are getting trained by you, and then what's happening in their businesses, and
Mhm.
what are these amazing stories that are happening?
Yeah.
That's the story that can then be tied back to you and your brand to then get pressed for your business.
It's just so amazing though, because like I said, like it's sometimes like I was so programmed to come from the for me perspective, which I think as society too, we're definitely programmed in that way. And then when we start to like come into, being a founder and being an entrepreneur and understanding the power of community and like how impactful it is when you really just harness the power of 100 women or 1,000 women or all the things and like see how we can rise up together, right? Because for so long I had like that corporate mentality where it's like every man for himself type of thing to try and like climb the ladder, and it's just not that case when you are like on this journey of entrepreneurship. Like
Mhm.
it takes a village, like it does in personal life, like with your kids and raising a family
Totally.
and raising your child, but what it all comes down to is like your business is like your baby too, and it takes a village for your business as well, because if you like, it's not normal for everybody to know everything about all the things in business because like how is that supposed to, like, how would that work?
No, I mean, I thank God every single day I have the most amazing business partner, Courtney, and we
Right?
have opposite skill sets and we're able to divide and conquer. But there's a lot of things that we both don't know and didn't know as we were growing our businesses. And we relied on other people and asking questions and community support. And like you said, when you're able to bring 1,000+ people together and you ask a question, you can get it answered and you don't have to feel, I feel so sad when I hear people say sometimes, "Oh, I have a dumb question." And I'm like, "There's no dumb question. Stop. Like, why are we putting ourselves down? Every question is valid. Every question is very important. And you should feel empowered to ask things that you
Mhm.
don't know because now you're going to get the answers and you're going to get to learn, and people are there to help. There's enough business to go around for everyone. We just need
Yeah.
to be there for each
I
other."
love questions. And you know what? I always give that disclaimer too. Like, first of all, I'm sorry, not the disclaimer, but kind of the disclaimer. So I always tell everybody there's no such thing as a dumb question. There's no such thing as a stupid question. This isn't about sounding a certain way, because when we give those disclaimers, it's the first impression that we're giving somebody else. Like, this
Yep.
might sound stupid, but like, no, that's not how it's like, this is your question.
Yes.
And when you ask the question, at least from my perspective, I love questions, because when I find that my community is asking me questions, I'm like, this actually helps me to be a better speaker, because now I'm incorporating this into my presentation or what I'm speaking about the next time. So that question doesn't come up again, but more so that I'm answering it in my delivery.
Mhm.
Right.
And people are looking
And I know
for those
people are looking
answers.
for it.
Yep.
Absolutely. So I like so if you're thinking like this is a dumb question, like let's just take that out of your vocabulary right now and
Thank
just know
you.
that you're actually helping the person that you're asking the question to. Like that's like a really big thing. Like it's
That's a
super
good
empowering.
good reframe. Very good reframe.
networking, community, all of the things I feel like are so like amazing when it comes down to having your business, having, being a human, being a female, all of the things like that. Now, I also noticed that like with community and with all of that, it was so essential for me to get with like-minded people, especially like in now, but like in the beginning phases of my journey of entrepreneurship, because like we all have friends, right? We all have family. And like while those friendships are sacred and the family is sacred and all of the things, not everybody's on the same page, right?
Totally.
So I actually had someone filled out an application for my coaching certification over the weekend, and like we have applications coming in all the time. We have people who are just like yes, hell no, whatever, it's fine. And I had a specific conversation with this person, and she was like, you know what, let me think about it. I'm like, awesome, you have to do what's best for you. The message I got back was like, I talked to my mom and my friend about it over the weekend, and we decided that it wasn't the right time and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, like that's fine. And if we had talked to the people who were in a community of growth and change and transformation, maybe that generational pattern wouldn't continue, right?
Yep.
So point of my story. So when I started my journey and I got with like a community of women, I noticed that like I was just at a different wavelength than everyone else around me, which was fine. And again, like the friendships and the family, I love them. I've been like friends with people for my entire life, but they just hit different.
I totally can relate. And there's just something about our personalities and our brains and our mindset when you're an entrepreneur. And not everyone has that. And that's okay. But
Right.
just friendships and conversations are different
Right.
because we just understand what we're all going through and what it takes and how every day, every hour, there's like high, low, lows and everything in between in a single day.
Yeah.
And, people who have not put themselves into this position and
Yeah.
are working, a 9 to 5 job or something else, which again, no matter what everyone does, as long as everyone is happy and living the life they want, that's all that matters. There's just something different about our what we do.
It's like a support group.
Yes.
Right? It's like a support group in a way. Another question that I would have for you is like when you first like began this journey, and you said this was you said like 14 years ago?
So 2012 is when Courtney and I quit our corporate jobs. So
Okay.
we started Socialfly on the side of our full-time jobs, and we were working nights and weekends for about 10 months before we quit
Wow.
corporate. So it'll be
So
11 years since we quit corporate on May 4th.
congratulations.
Thanks.
That's a huge milestone. 11 years. Wow. So when you and Courtney quit your jobs and you were just like, I'm just gonna freaking go at this full time, what were some of the mindset blocks that maybe you were working through, or maybe some of the resistance that you had? Here's a better reframe. What were some of those like resistant things that you were feeling that you got to lean into?
I will share that when we first quit our jobs, like I didn't have much resistance. Like I
Okay.
just knew we were going to do whatever it
Yeah.
took to make it happen. Courtney is, much more like calculated and likes to plan and figure everything out. Actually, we've like done a bit of a role reversal over the years now, which is actually kind of funny. But she was like, okay, if we don't do this much revenue in this much time, I can always go back to, getting a job. And like we both knew we were, young and employable if for some reason the business didn't work out. But like I was like, we're doing it. We're doing whatever it takes. We're gonna make this happen. And that was my mindset.
You know what? That's actually the best mindset to have. And I think that because you're working with like, this is going to work out, and almost a sense of like, there's not an option. Like for
Mhm.
me, when I think about like, there's days where I'll come up against like a human emotion, right? Or a limiting belief.
Yeah.
And I have to like just check myself for a second, because I just remember like, it's not an option to like, quote unquote, fail. Like fail is not in the vocabulary here. So if I'm coming up against like this limiting belief or an obstacle or a challenge, like what do I need to do, or what can I do right now so that this doesn't happen again? What can I learn from this? Because failure is not an option. Like, we are not going back to corporate. Like, no offense, like
Yep.
corporate, thank you to all of my past bosses. If you're listening, I hope you are. We are just not going back there.
Yes.
So what would you say is maybe a characteristic or something that you decided that you were going to embody and like just carry with you for the rest of forever?
I would say it's just something I think I'm was born with, but
Yeah.
I developed better skills by having a lot of things thrown at me over the past 10 plus years, just
Yeah.
resilience and being
Resilient.
able to just problem solve and figure things out as things happened.
Yeah.
Going back to your first question though, it did when you were sharing that, it did make me think of when Courtney and I first started out, we had been, on social media for years and, we
Yeah.
started this business, but we knew we had to position ourselves as these like experts in social media.
Mm-hmm.
And we started to get asked to speak places. And I still remember like the first time, going and speaking in front of a crowd of, 50 people in the real estate industry talking about social media and like being so nervous to get up on stage and thinking like, who am I to go speak here? But then it's like reframe, like, no, I know a lot more than all of these people here. I'm going to do it. And for me, what helped was just practicing.
Yeah.
I've just always learned over the years that I do like to practice to feel prepared. And then when I feel prepared, even if I'm nervous for something, at least I'm prepared.
Right. Like there is not, when you were saying when you got up there to speak in front of like the 50 people, there's nothing like speaking in front of a crowd. Like, and I know like there's like everyone has like a lot of people have the fear of like public speaking. And it's almost like the fear of like going live on Instagram for the first time, or the first time you're going to go on stories or whatever, whatever. But like there's nothing better than just like embodying like your most confident self and owning your expertise in
Yes.
front of a room of people. Like, it's the best feeling ever.
Totally. And that musical theater background helps, right?
I was just gonna say, and the musical theater background of just like getting up there and like performing. And it has me thinking like I used to write resumes. Like, and as like a side gig for my corporate job, I think I was career coaching before I was ever actually like coaching in real life. I was always rewriting people's resumes for the job that they wanted.
Mm,
And I think that prepared me for what I do now as far as like embodiment goes, because I was always so good whenever I went on my own interviews at getting the job. Right? Because it
yes.
was all about like being not, I don't want to call it being a chameleon, but kind of like I would always like morph into like the version of me that I wanted to be in that role. And that would make
Yes.
me feel the most confident and just come off as like, I got this.
Yes, I love that. Isn't it so interesting to just look and see how everything you've done has led you to where you are today?
Yeah. And it's always like, you know what, sometimes when you think you're like just about to like burn everything down, it's really those are the moments when you're really in your biggest, most expansive like era, right?
Totally. Totally.
So interesting. Oh, I love that. Oh my God. So I really enjoyed having this conversation with you today, and like everything that we talked about. I think like the moral of the story was like just really embracing your community and just owning your voice and like owning your leadership and the confidence and like just taking the stage, right? Just be that
Yes.
performer. Wait, there's a quote that I heard. You are the main character of your own play, or something to that.
I love that. That sounds
Right?
right.
Like it's time to
It's so
act as the
true
main
though. Yes.
character. You are the main character of your story. You're not a supporting role. I think
And
that was
own
like,
it.
yeah, and own it.
I love it.
Yeah. So if there's any like last thoughts, tips, tricks, any like last things that you want to leave our listeners with today?
I would share never be shy or hesitate to reach out to others. People are so willing to help and connect and collaborate. And I think you were mentioning this in the beginning when we started recording, the worst someone can say is no. So just reach out, because if they say yes and it helps you get to that next step, then you're on your way. So reach out. You can reach out to me. My DMs are always open. You could, of course, request to join our Entreprenista League community. And I'm always here to help support and want to help everyone in their business.
So where can they find you if they wanted to reach out? And we'll put all the links below just in case.
Sure. So you can join the Entreprenista League. We are at theleague.entreprenista.com. You can also find us on Instagram at Entreprenistas with an S at the end, ENTREPRENISTAS. And then I am personally on LinkedIn and Instagram at Steph Jill Cartin. And again, feel free to send me a DM. I am here to help.
Yes. So all of those links are going to be below in the show notes or the description on YouTube. And then we'll also include it all in like the email and everything that goes out. But I am a member of the league. So come join me. It's amazing. I had posted on there recently, actually found out that my neighbor is also a member of the league. So it's like the best place to go to network with like-minded individuals, with like-minded women who are on this journey of entrepreneurship, just like together, because there's nothing more impactful and empowering than people who can support you on your journey and you can support them as well. It's like really, truly a genuine place to connect. So Stephanie, thank you so much for being so amazing and agreeing to come on my podcast today. I had so much fun having just like normal conversation. Just so you guys know, when she said I wasn't prepared with the elevator pitch, like the first question Stephanie was like, did you send like anything to look over? And I'm like, no. The only time I ever did that, I was like, oh my God, I can't read off of something and ask questions. So we just do like an organic conversation.
I love it.
She was totally prepared.
Well, look, I wanted to be sure I didn't miss anything in my email that I wasn't supposed to read, that I was supposed to read ahead of time.
And so funny. No. And then, but no, this was awesome. I had such a fun conversation, and everyone go check Stephanie out, and we will see you here next time. And remember, you are you, and that is your superpower. I hope everyone has an amazing Thursday, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.